people give you secrets, can you handle the information they've given you? Do you know how to be a best friend? You know how to protect people's secrets, and then part of that, protect other people. That's how you learn about intimacy. That's the positive outcome. Or maybe, unfortunately, I never learned how to be emotionally close to people. That's where my sense of isolation comes in. Isolation, I feel alone. I don't feel connected to other people. Clearly, that would be a negative outcome, that you never learned how to become close, how to be a friend. Your relationships are going to be damaged because of what did not happen from 18 to about 30. But that didn't happen. Intimacy. You learned how to be a friend. You're able to exchange information with people. You protected their secrets. They protected your secrets. You've got that relationship stuff worked out. Okay, then what? You move on to the 7th stage. Now he makes up some words here. Stage 7 goes from about 30 to about 60. It turns out that when he goes deeper into these stages, the numbers get a little iffy. So it's about 30 to about 60. This is the generativity versus stagnation stage. Now, he made up that word generativity. I don't think that's actually a word, but hey, it's his theory. Generativity versus stagnation. What is this all about? Well, think about this. From 30 years of age to 60 years of age, give or take, this is when you're making a contribution to the world. Whatever you're going to do in life, it's probably going to happen somewhere in this age range. By the age of 30, Erikson's assuming, you've got your career. You've got a choice. You're making a contribution to the world, whatever that is. You're doing it now or not. Stagnation is that whole failure to launch thing. So what's going to happen potentially with stagnation is you get to be like 60 years old, and what have you done with your life? Instead of being active, generating something, making a contribution to the world, you let those 30 years slide by. You didn't do anything, you didn't contribute. Missed opportunity. And that takes us to the final stage, stage 8, from 60 till, who knows when. No one knows how long they're going to live. So it's a big question mark. So what is this stage? It's the ego integrity versus despair stage. Ego integrity versus despair. It's all about evaluation. You look back on your life and evaluate it. You're evaluating whether your life was worth living. Think about that. Now, 60, we can clearly question that. In Erikson's day, people didn't live as long as they do today. So what is he saying? Well, when you get closer to the end of your life, and hopefully it won't be 60, it'll be long, long, long after that. But when you get to be, well, retired, when you get to the end of your life, he's saying that you look back on it. You evaluate your life, and you ask yourself, was that a good life? Was that worth living? Did I do a good job? If you look back and evaluate your life in a positive way, you have ego integrity. You smile when you think about all the things you've done. You've made a contribution to the world. You learned how to handle relationships. You knew who you were. It was a good life. You led it well. That's ego integrity. Despair. You're, who knows, 70, 80, 90 years old. You look back at your life and you're like, oh my God, my life is almost over. What did I do with it? Nothing. I wasted 80 years. The best 80 years of my life and nothing to show for it? That's where the sense of despair comes in. So, according to Erikson, each stage of your life involves a different challenge. There's some conflict, there's some issue that you've got to address. Is he right? Well, yes and no. Those are questions that people answer. They do so pretty much their entire life. You can't confine these things to just one stage. That sense of identity, you know what? There are people working on their identity their whole life long. One of the criticisms of the stage approach is, gosh, I only am concerned with this from 12 to 18 years of age? Honestly, no. That the more distant you get from that stage or that age, the less you're concerned about it. But the assumption is most people resolve these issues at some point in their lifetime. So he's kind of confined us. He says this and only this time is when you do this stuff. Too inflexible. We're doing this all life long. So again, the whole stage-based approach, you can call it into question. It makes people very rigid, very inflexible, and we're not. If you're healthy, there's flexibility. You're dealing with this stuff your whole life long. So that's Erikson. That's a look at social growth. Let's talk about what happens to your life by the decades. So from early adulthood into, well, late adulthood, what takes place? I have got good news for you and I've got bad news for you. Here's the good news. For most people, from 18 to 25, you are at your peak. Physically, from 18 to 25, it's probably not going to get any better than that. 25, that's when your brain has finished depositing all of that myelin that we talked about. So, cognitively, 25, you've reached your pinnacle. It's as good as it's going to get. The bad news is, after 25, it's all downhill. Now, don't panic about that, because here's the truth. It's such a slow, gradual descent, you won't even notice it's taking place. You'll be well into your 30s. You'll come home after playing tennis with one of your friends, and you say to your spouse, gosh, my shoulder really hurts. I wonder why. And your spouse, being wise, will tell you, because you're not 18 to 25 anymore, you're 39. And that's when it hits you, yeah, I guess I am getting older, huh? So that decline is very slow. It's very steady. You won't even notice it's happening until it's way too late. So 18 to 25, everything is at its peak, then it's downhill. By the decades, here's what most people's life trajectory looks like. In your 20s, you make decisions. You're asking yourself, what career do I want? Where do I want to live? How do I want to live? All those decisions get sorted out mostly in your 20s. In your 30s, you start to implement the plan. You decide, I want to become a brain surgeon, I want to become a professional skateboarder, whatever it is, you're going to do it. So you start working on your plans in your 30s. and things are fine. You continue into your 40s making it happen. Whatever you were going to do, you're like, I'm going in this direction, and you start getting busy, and you do it all. Yeah, but according to people like Carl Jung, here's what happens in your early 40s. In your 30s, you implemented the plan that you made in your 20s. You're making it happen. And you've had success. Whatever your goals were, you're achieving them. You've got a family, you've cranked out a couple of kids, life is good, but somewhere 40 to 45, according to Jung, later according to some other people, you start to realize it's not enough. That around 45, you experience the famous midlife crisis. Midlife crisis. What the heck is that? Well, depending upon which theorist you believe in, what this represents is refusing to let go of your youth. Now, maybe not, have you talked to your friends about the future? Have you made plans about the future? Before you all go your separate ways in high school, did you agree to stay together, to meet up in 10 years and go do something just to keep in touch? See, that's what's happening with midlife crisis. All those earlier plans and ideas, you're still holding on to them. Let's say in high school, you and your friends decided, before you all die, you want to get together and what do you want to do? Hang glide off Mount Kilimanjaro. Maybe you wanted to kayak down the Amazon. One big adventure for all of you. Now that you're 45, do you want to hang glide off Mount Kilimanjaro? Do you want to kayak down the Amazon? Probably not. Why not? You've got a good life. Why risk it doing something stupid? You're going to hang glide off something whose middle of the name is Killaman? I don't think so. That doesn't make sense. So, no, I'm going to pass on those earlier plans. That's what most people say, and that's what most people do. There's that one person who's still clinging to the past. No, but we said we'd do this, right, guys? We're going to do this, right? No, let go of the past. It was stupid then, it's stupid now. Let it go. Let it go. And they refuse to do that. So, yeah, that most people don't have a midlife crisis. Why not? They keep adapting. As life comes to them, they change their plans. They roll with the punches. They adapt. So, yeah, most people don't have a midlife crisis. Only a few people do that, and they're the ones who kind of made that midlife crisis into a bigger thing than it really is. So, you tell me, just think about it. Has your dad or anyone who you know as a friend, maybe their dad, recently bought either a motorcycle, an expensive sports car, a jet ski, an airplane, anything that's going to kill them? What's up with that? Well, two things. They're still clinging to the past. They could not afford to buy that stuff when they were 18. They wanted it, but they couldn't afford it. Now that they're in their middle life, they can afford anything they want, and they think, well, it's time to buy me that bright, shiny red sports car I always wanted. What could go wrong? Here's what goes wrong. It's a two-seater. You've got a spouse, you've got 3 kids, you've got 2 dogs. They're not going to fit in your sports car. So maybe abandon the 2-seat sports car, spend the money on something else? No, I'm clinging to the past. So midlife crisis is overblown. Most people don't have it. Most people adapt, they evolve, they change. That's why they don't have a midlife crisis. They let go of the past. They focus instead on the future. You're in the middle of your life. You've got decades ahead of you. There are things you can still do because you're still young and healthy. So if you want to avoid a midlife crisis, yeah, the silly things from your past, let them go. Let them go. Let them go. So adapt, evolve. That's the key to life.